The story we uncover today is one of concealed love, betrayal, and a shocking murder that left the community reeling. This is the tragic tale of Sam Mitchell, a well-respected local businessman whose life was brutally cut short. Sam Mitchell, a 54-year-old resident of Santa Clarita, California, owned the reputable Mitchell Pest Solutions. Known for his bright personality, Sam was also a passionate collector of 19th-century Western art. He frequently visited local art galleries and attended art shows, becoming a well-known figure in those circles. Sam lived in a comfortable suburban home with his wife, Danielle Peters Mitchell, with whom he had been married for 22 years. Danielle, 46, worked as an accountant. Their marriage had its ups and downs, largely due to Sam's secretive nature. Despite the issues and rumor of infidelity, Danielle remained steadfastly loyal to Sam. Sam was known for his kindness and generosity. He frequently donated to local charities and supported community events, earning him a lot of goodwill in the neighborhood. Sam had a large circle of friends who admired his cheerful and friendly nature. He dreamed of expanding his business and opening new branches in other cities. Additionally, he was keen on adding a new piece to his art collection. Just a few days before his death, Sam was excited about a business deal and planning to attend an auction of Western art in Fort Worth, Texas. On October 10, 2021, he spent the day meeting with clients and planning his next business moves. That evening, he had dinner with his wife and their two college-aged kids at the Old Spaghetti Factory, a popular restaurant in Santa Clarita. They talked about their future and their plans for the holidays. Sam seemed happy and excited about the upcoming weeks. He was a successful businessman, a loving husband and father, and a beloved member of his community. Sam had big dreams and a bright future ahead of him, which made his tragic death even more heartbreaking. On the morning of October 15, 2021, around 8 a.m., Sam Mitchell's body was discovered by his longtime friend and business associate Mark Stevenson. Mark had known Sam for over 10 years and often stopped by his house to discuss business matters. That morning, Mark was supposed to meet Sam to discuss a new pest control contract with a major client. Mark arrived at Sam's suburban house on Oakwood Avenue in Santa Clarita, a quiet street. When Sam didn't answer the door, Mark found it strange. He knew Sam was always punctual and never missed a meeting. After knocking several times with no response, Mark decided to use the spare key Sam had given him for emergencies. Upon entering the house, Mark immediately sensed something was wrong. The house was unusually quiet. Mark called out Sam's name but received no reply. He walked into the living room and was met with a scene that would haunt him forever. Sam lay on the floor in a pool of blood. The room showed signs of a violent struggle. Furniture was overturned, and blood was splattered on the walls. Sam had multiple stab wounds, indicating a fierce fight before his death. Mark, visibly shaken, dialed 911 with trembling hands. When the emergency operator answered, he struggled to maintain his composure as he described the gruesome scene he had discovered. The operator kept Mark on the line, reassuring him as they dispatched the police and paramedics. Mark felt overwhelmed by fear and sadness, grappling with the disbelief that such a horrific crime had occurred to someone he cared about deeply. Mark, trying to steady his nerves, examined the scene for any clues while waiting for the authorities. He saw the overturned furniture and the blood-streaked walls, but could find no further signs of life. He sat on the couch, overwhelmed and disoriented, struggling to understand the brutal scene before him. Mark guided the police and paramedics to the living room, his face pale and shaken. The authorities quickly assessed the scene, documenting the evidence and beginning their investigation. The sight of Sam's favorite painting, now marred by blood, added a tragic note to the already grim scene. The paramedics confirmed Sam's death, and the police proceeded to secure the crime scene. Mark provided a detailed statement to the officers, describing his discovery and the circumstances leading up to it. His account would play a vital role in the ensuing investigation. Detective Tara Howard, recognized for her meticulous approach, led the investigation at Sam Mitchell's house on the morning of October 15, 2021. She was joined by her partner, Detective Mike Ramirez, who brought his own expertise in handling serious crimes. Upon entering the house on Oakwood Avenue, Detectives Tara Howard and Mike Ramirez were greeted by a chilling sight. The living room was chaotic, with overturned furniture and blood smeared across the walls and floor. Sam's lifeless body was found in the center of the room, surrounded by clear signs of a fierce struggle. Detectives Howard and Ramirez immediately recognized the complexity of the case. As they started their examination of the crime scene, they observed the multiple stab wounds on Sam's body, which indicated a violent and personal attack. The detectives noted the struggle Sam had endured, evident from his numerous stab wounds. Nearby, they discovered the murder weapon, a large kitchen knife stained with blood. They meticulously collected it for evidence, taking care to preserve any potential fingerprints or trace evidence. Forensic experts soon arrived and began their work at the scene. They used advanced equipment to collect fingerprints, blood samples, and other crucial evidence. They carefully photographed the entire room, documenting the placement of furniture and the bloodstains to ensure a comprehensive record of the crime scene. Detective Howard spoke with Mark Stevenson, who had found Sam's body. Mark detailed his experience, describing the disarray of the room and his immediate actions upon discovering the crime. He explained his shock and the steps he took to call 911 and await the authorities. Detective Howard and Ramirez continued their investigation by examining the rest of Sam's house. They looked for any signs of forced entry or disturbances in other areas, hoping to find clues about the killer's identity or their motive. They also checked for any surveillance footage or security systems that might have captured unusual activity around the time of the murder. Detectives Howard and Ramirez reviewed Sam's cell phone for any relevant messages, calls, or contacts that could provide leads. They noticed several recent calls and texts, including some from unknown numbers and messages that seemed out of place. This prompted them to further investigate Sam's recent interactions and relationships, looking for anyone who might have had a motive to harm him. Detective Howard's refusal to comment to the press only fueled public interest and speculation. Neighbors were also questioned by reporters, many of whom expressed shock and disbelief over the crime. The community was eager for answers, but the police remained tight-lipped, focusing on gathering evidence and piecing together the events leading up to Sam Mitchell's murder. By the end of the day, detectives had gathered a lot of evidence, but many questions were still unanswered. Who would want to kill Sam Mitchell, and for what reason? Detective Howard and her team were aware that this investigation was only starting and that they faced a challenging journey. Their first focus was on Danielle Peters Mitchell, Sam's wife of 22 years. Danielle, 46, worked as an accountant at a law firm in the San Fernando Valley. Known for her meticulous and detail-oriented nature, she excelled in her profession. Although she appeared calm, Sam's death deeply impacted her. On the afternoon of October 16, 2021, Danielle was brought in for questioning. Detective Tara Howard conducted the interview. Danielle maintained a composed demeanor, though it was clear she was distressed. Danielle explained to the detectives that her relationship with Sam had been complicated. Despite their differences, she loved him deeply. She also disclosed that Sam had been secretly involved with a younger man named Kevin Lawrence. Danielle's revelation was unexpected for the detectives. She explained that she had discovered the affair a few months prior, which had strained their relationship significantly. Additionally, Sam had recently tested positive for AIDS, which further heightened their tensions. When asked about her whereabouts on the night of the murder, Danielle stated that she had been at home alone, as she had not felt well and had gone to bed early. Danielle stated that she had stayed home that night, watching TV and working on paperwork. She specifically mentioned watching the latest episode of NCIS, a popular show at the time, and going to bed around 10 p.m. Her calm and cooperative attitude during the questioning stood out. She seemed eager to assist with the investigation and provide any information that could help solve the case. The detectives inquired about any financial difficulties between Danielle and Sam. Danielle assured them that their finances were stable and that they had no major money issues. She firmly denied any involvement in Sam's death, stating that despite being hurt by his affair, she would never resort to violence. Although Danielle was cooperative, the detectives couldn't overlook the potential motive stemming from betrayal and Sam's illness. They decided to verify her alibi and search for any additional evidence that might connect her to the crime. The detectives gathered Danielle's phone records and financial statements, searching for any inconsistencies or suspicious activity. They were thorough in their investigation, aware that every detail could be crucial in uncovering the truth. The scrutiny of Danielle's background was part of a comprehensive approach to solve the case. Danielle's composed yet emotional demeanor left the detectives with conflicting impressions. Was she simply a grieving widow, or was she a jealous spouse with a potential motive? As the investigation moved forward, the focus shifted to Kevin Lawrence, the man Danielle had identified as Sam's lover. Kevin Lawrence, 21, was an aspiring artist residing in West Hollywood. Originally from a small town in Iowa, he had moved to California with dreams of making it big in the art world. To make ends meet, Kevin worked as a jailer. On October 17, 2021, Kevin Lawrence was brought in for questioning at the Santa Clarita police station. Detective Mike Ramirez conducted the interrogation. Kevin was nervous but cooperative during the interrogation. He admitted to having a year-long affair with Sam and described him as kind and supportive. Kevin explained that Sam had provided financial help for his art supplies and rent, and despite their age difference, he felt a deep connection with Sam. He insisted that their relationship was meaningful beyond the financial support Sam offered. Kevin admitted he was aware that his relationship with Sam caused issues in Sam's marriage to Danielle. He told the detectives he had spent the night of the murder at his apartment, focusing on a new painting. Kevin mentioned he had ordered takeout from Panda Express and spent the evening alone, working on his art. The detectives noted his calm demeanor, but were aware of the potential complications, including the stress from his relationship with Sam and his bipolar disorder, which sometimes affected his emotions. Kevin insisted he would never harm Sam, despite the financial support he received from him, which could suggest a motive. To confirm his alibi, the detectives reviewed Kevin's phone records and interviewed his neighbors to verify his account of the evening. The detectives sought to confirm Kevin's alibi by checking if any neighbors could verify his presence at home that night. They also scrutinized his financial records for any unusual transactions. Even with Kevin's cooperation, the detectives remained cautious, considering the possibility that he might have been involved in Sam's death. Kevin's connection with Sam and his financial dependence on him made him a key figure in the investigation. The detectives kept examining the evidence to either substantiate or refute his involvement in the murder. Kevin's unstable emotional state further complicated his role in the case. Rick Gallagher, a 45-year-old real estate developer, was the third suspect in the investigation. Wealthy and ambitious, Rick was known for his cutthroat business approach. On October 18, 2021, the police brought Rick Gallagher in for questioning. The two had a strained professional relationship, with rumors suggesting a possible personal connection as well. Detective Tara Howard led the interrogation. Rick Gallagher, while confident and composed, showed a hint of nervousness. He acknowledged that his relationship with Sam was complex, involving both professional and personal elements. Rick disclosed that he and Sam had been lovers, a secret he had kept to protect his reputation. This was a startling new detail for the detectives. Additionally, Rick mentioned that he had recently tested positive for AIDS, which he suspected he had contracted from Sam. Rick claimed he was at a business dinner at the Palm, a high-end steakhouse in Brentwood, Los Angeles, on the night of Sam's murder. He provided details about the meeting and said he had been with several colleagues. Rick's motive was evident, given his recent discovery of the AIDS diagnosis and the complex dynamics between him and Sam. The detectives knew they needed to verify his alibi and examine any further evidence that could connect or clear him from the crime. The detectives scrutinized Rick's financial records and phone logs for any unusual activity or connections to the crime. They also planned to interview his colleagues to confirm his alibi from the night of Sam's murder. Rick's anger and feelings of betrayal made him a person of interest, but the detectives needed concrete evidence to link him to the crime. The detectives carefully reviewed Rick's interactions with Sam in the weeks before the murder. They found that while Rick was generally calm during the interrogation, he grew defensive when discussing his emotions towards Sam. Rick maintained that although he was deeply hurt and angry, he would never commit violence. Rick's frustration and desire to move on from the situation were evident, but the detectives needed more than just his statements to connect him to the crime. They left the interrogation room with many questions still unanswered, knowing that while Rick's relationship with Sam and recent diagnosis made him a key suspect, solid evidence was crucial for any conclusions. Determined to uncover the truth, the detectives delved further into Rick's background and recent activities. His ambition and feelings of betrayal made him a significant figure in the investigation. They knew that exploring every angle was essential to solving the mystery of Sam's murder. On October 20, 2021, a significant development in the case came to light. That rainy Wednesday morning, the police were alerted by a neighbor living a few houses down from Sam. The neighbors had discovered something unusual in her backyard and felt it might be connected to the ongoing investigation. Detectives Tara Howard and Mike Ramirez promptly arrived at Mrs. Green's house on Oakwood Avenue. they carefully collected the bloody shirt found in her backyard, ensuring they preserved any potential evidence for analysis. The shirt, appearing to be a men's size, had bloodstains that suggested it had been worn during the murder. The detectives sent the shirt to the forensics lab, eager to determine its relevance to the case and identify any potential links to the suspects. The forensics team quickly analyzed the shirt, confirming that the bloodstains matched Sam Mitchell's blood type. This crucial finding indicated that the shirt was directly connected to the murder, adding a significant piece of evidence to the investigation. The DNA results from the shirt not only confirmed the blood belonged to Sam Mitchell, but also revealed a match to Danielle Peters Mitchell. This significant evidence raised serious doubts about Danielle's claims of innocence and brought her back into the spotlight of the investigation. Detective Howard and Ramirez recognized the gravity of this development and knew they needed to re-evaluate Danielle's involvement in the case. Danielle arrived at the police station on the morning of October 21, 2021, visibly anxious. Detective Howard and Detective Ramirez were ready to question her again, armed with the new evidence linking her to the murder. The atmosphere in the interrogation room was tense as the detectives presented the bloody shirt and the DNA match, confronting Danielle with the incriminating evidence. Danielle's anxiety was evident as she sat down in the interrogation room. Detective Howard placed the bloody shirt and the DNA evidence on the table. Danielle's calm facade began to crumble as she took in the gravity of the situation. Danielle claimed ignorance about how her DNA ended up on the shirt and insisted she was being framed. As the detectives questioned her about her whereabouts on the night of the murder, her story began to shift, revealing inconsistencies that further aroused suspicion. Danielle admitted to arguing with Sam about his affair with Kevin Lawrence on the night of the murder. She claimed Sam became violent and that she had acted in self-defense. However, the detectives discovered inconsistencies in her account that raised doubts about her version of events. The evidence indicated a premeditated attack rather than self-defense. With this in mind, the detectives scrutinized Danielle's financial records and found that she had recently taken out a large life insurance policy on Sam. This discovery added a potential motive for the crime. The discovery of the bloody shirt and its DNA match with Danielle, along with the recent life insurance policy, provided a compelling motive for the murder. These developments brought the detectives closer to solving the case and uncovering the truth behind Sam Mitchell's death. Danielle's inconsistent statements and the mounting evidence positioned her as the primary suspect in Sam's murder. On October 25, 2021, a significant breakthrough occurred. The financial records showed that Danielle had recently secured a $500,000 life insurance policy on Sam. The detectives confronted Rick Gallagher with the new evidence. He was shocked to learn about the $300,000 transfer from Sam's account to his own. Rick explained that the money was a personal loan from Sam, which he had been repaying over time. He insisted that the transfer was legitimate and part of their ongoing financial arrangement. Rick admitted that Danielle had convinced him to fabricate the story about their relationship and aids to divert suspicion away from her. He revealed that he had agreed to this plan in exchange for a significant sum of money. With this new information, the detectives refocused their investigation on Danielle Peters Mitchell. Under the mounting pressure, Danielle eventually confessed. She admitted to fabricating the story about Sam's AIDS diagnosis to tarnish his reputation and garner sympathy. She also confessed to orchestrating the murder to collect the life insurance money, revealing that the plan was meticulously devised and carried out. Danielle revealed that her anger and humiliation over Sam's affair with Kevin Lawrence drove her to the breaking point. She admitted to confronting Sam that night, which escalated into violence. Danielle confessed to orchestrating the murder and paying Rick to back up her false claims. Her emotions and feelings of betrayal led to the tragic culmination of her actions. During the confrontation, Danielle stabbed Sam multiple times in a fit of rage. She hoped that by framing him as an unfaithful husband with a disease, she could divert suspicion and gain sympathy. With her confession, the detectives had both a clear motive and substantial evidence tying Danielle to the murder. On October 27, 2021, Danielle was arrested at her home and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to obstruct justice. As the police handcuffed her, she displayed little emotion, seemingly resigned to her fate. The news of Danielle's arrest sent shockwaves through the Santa Clarita community. Sam's family and friends were heartbroken by the betrayal and the grim details of his death. They grappled with the painful realization that someone so close to Sam could commit such a horrific crime. Sam's children were especially devastated by the dual loss of their father and the betrayal of their mother. The community came together to support them, providing comfort and strength as they navigated this challenging period. The police praised Detective Howard and her team for their diligent work in uncovering the truth. The revelations about Daniel's deception and the financial evidence were key to solving the case. While Sam's family and friends found some solace in the resolution, the emotional impact of the tragedy would remain with them for a long time. The trial of Daniel Peters Mitchell commenced on December 5, 2021, at the Santa Clarita Superior Court. District Attorney James Thompson, known for his sharp legal acumen, spearheaded the prosecution. Thompson argued that Daniel's crime was premeditated, fueled by jealousy and greed. District Attorney James Thompson highlighted the life insurance policy and the payment to Rick Gallagher as key evidence of Daniel's intent to frame Sam and evade justice. On the defense, Attorney Karen Lee, known for her calm and strategic approach, argued that Daniel acted in self-defense during a heated argument with Sam. Karen Lee aimed to portray Daniel as a desperate woman driven to the edge by her husband's infidelity and deceit. The trial was emotionally intense, with Sam's family and friends attending daily. They listened closely as witnesses like Rick Gallagher and Kevin Lawrence took the stand. Rick testified that he had been paid to fabricate details about his relationship with Sam, while Kevin described their affair in detail. The prosecution highlighted the bloody shirt with Daniel's DNA and the financial records as critical evidence. Forensic experts testified that the nature of the attack was inconsistent with Daniel's self-defense claim. The jury was presented with crime scene photos, emphasizing the brutality of the murder. Throughout the trial, Daniel remained largely composed, though she visibly shook during Kevin's testimony. The emotional toll on Sam's children was palpable, as they grappled with the harrowing details of the case. On December 20th, 2021, after 2 weeks of intense testimony and deliberations, the jury convicted Daniel Peters Mitchell of first-degree murder and conspiracy to obstruct justice. The verdict brought a mix of relief and sorrow to Sam's family and friends, who faced the difficult task of reconciling their loss with the painful truth of the case. The judge sentenced Daniel Peters Mitchell to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In her statement, she highlighted the calculated nature of the crime and the extensive efforts Daniel made to conceal her actions. While Sam's family found some measure of justice in the verdict, the enduring pain of his loss and the betrayal by Daniel remained a heavy burden. The sentencing provided a measure of closure, yet the emotional wounds remained raw. Sam's family expressed their gratitude for the community's support and the tireless work of the police and prosecution. While justice was served, the scars from this tragic event would linger with them for a long time. After Daniel Peters Mitchell's sentencing, life gradually began to return to a semblance of normalcy for those affected by Sam Mitchell's tragic murder. Sam's children, Emma and Jack, both in their early 20s, faced a difficult road ahead. They found comfort in their supportive community of Santa Clarita, which had rallied around them during the trial, offering strength and encouragement as they navigated their grief and adjusted to their new reality. Kevin Lawrence, the young artist, whose relationship with Sam had played a central role in the investigation, channeled his energy into his career. Despite the media attention and the challenges it brought, he continued to paint and showcase his work in galleries throughout West Hollywood. Kevin remained committed to establishing himself in the art world, using his passion and resilience to navigate the aftermath of the trial and build a future for himself. Rick Gallagher, the real estate developer whose involvement in the case had briefly made headlines, retreated from the public eye after the trial. His admission of accepting money from Daniel to fabricate details about his relationship with Sam damaged his reputation. Despite this, Rick continued to manage his business quietly, maintaining a low profile in Santa Clarita as he focused on his professional responsibilities away from the spotlight. As time went on, Santa Clarita began to heal from the shock of Sam Mitchell's murder. The fall of 2021 brought golden leaves and a sense of normalcy. The community embraced seasonal celebrations, with pumpkin patches and haunted houses marking the Halloween season. Local news focused on stories of resilience and hope, highlighting community events and initiatives designed to help residents recover and move forward from the tragedy. For Sam's children and close friends, the memory of his kindness and generosity continued to be a source of solace. They took comfort in cherishing the good times they had with him and in knowing that justice had been served. Though the scars of Sam's murder would never fully heal, the community's support and resilience provided a hopeful path forward, allowing them to find strength in the face of their enduring grief. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Truthful Crimes. The story of Samuel Sam Mitchell serves as a sobering reminder of how concealed emotions and secrets can result in tragic outcomes. We appreciate your interest in this exploration of love, betrayal, and murder. Join us next time for more in-depth investigations into true crime stories. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll uncover another compelling true crime story. Until then, stay safe and vigilant.